Hi dear students, my name is Rahman and you are watching Rahman Han 62.5 channels. Last time we discussed something about the digestions, and now today our topic is will be about the uh, the brain and the parts of the brains. I mean to say the nervous systems. The nervous system which consist of the central nervous system and peripheral nervous systems. And central nervous system we call this as a CNS, and peripheral nervous system we call this as a PNS. So, if you talk about the central nervous system consists of the spinal cords and the brain and the spinal cord, and they have special functions. I will discuss this in later on. I will discuss about this, but before this, I'm going to this. I just wanted to say you that the nervous system. Let's go to the slides. You can see there in the slides the central nervous systems, the nervous systems, the brain, which consists of the brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, which consists of the nerve cells, the nerve cells and the skulls and vertebrae, etc. Okay, let's starting with the points. Do you know there in this point? Okay, uh, there. Do you know there are billions nerve cells in the human body? Nerve cells can carry signals at 100 meters per second. In this point, what they are discussing, if all your neurons were lined up, they would form a 600 miles long lines. So this is beautiful lines. Is must I want to discuss with you about this. If you get, you must remember this, that there are billions of neurons. Your nervous systems is consist of billions of neurons. So if you get these neurons and get them, and you keep that one by one in a line, so it will takes 600-meter long line. So you must should this sentence is just only for this reason, to understand this, that the number of neurons is very high in the nervous systems. Okay, let's come to the point again. So in this point, neurons are the largest cells in the body. They do not undergo the process of mitosis. This point I also discussed with you. This point, that these are the they are talking this, the neurons are the largest cells. No, this is the longest cells, not the largest cells. It means to say that they consist of axons, they consist of dendrites, they consist of the cell bodies. A single neuron consists of the cell body and the axons and the dendrites. So that's what they taking the long way. They consisting stretching in a long way. So they are longest, not largest. Largest cells is the egg, which is produced in the ovum of females. So this is produced in the ovum of the female. The egg is produced in the ovum of the female. That is largest cells in a human body. But the longest cell in the human body is the neurons, as I discussed there at the top. Okay, uh, there we go. Here are in this point. Here are some interesting facts about the nervous systems. There are many others, various websites. There are billions of nerve cells in the human body. The numbers is more than the stars in the Milky Way. It's mean to say in the Milky Way, which consists of the galaxy, when we are in which galaxy we are living, that galaxy will be called as the Milky Way. So, consisting of the billions of neurons, it consists of the billions of stars. It means to say that the numbers of the neuron is very high. So, you must remember this. They're talking this as the number of neuron is very high. They are giving an example of the Milky Way, that in this galaxy, there are millions, billions of stars. So it means to say there also a billions of neuron consisting of a nervous system. So they are talking about this. Okay, next one. This one is the nervous systems. The nervous systems system controls first emotions, which means you say sentimentalness, movements, thinking, and behavior. Okay, the central nervous system controls reflex functions and is a path to the brain. Okay, the reflex actions. Reflex actions mean to say that if you talk about this, that the 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 reflex actions of a body. Reflex, if some things pricks your hand, your fingers, if the needles prick into your fingers during fabric, knitting the fabric, so with other fabric, so you are joining a fabric with other fabrics with the help of the stitching. So when you have at that time you have your needle. So when your needle prick your finger, suddenly your finger will move back. So this is the action of which we call the reflex actions. So there they're talking about the reflex actions. They control the central nervous system, control the reflex actions, the reflex functions, the reflex actions, they're controlling this. Okay, let's come to the point, starting with the point, the nervous system. This is the fifth number slides, nervous systems. Okay, you must remember this, that the nervous systems consist of the central nervous systems and peripheral nervous systems. As I said to you at the starting, that the central nervous system consists of the nervous system consists of the central nervous system, which called CNS, and the PNS, which is called peripheral nervous systems. So what is there? Central nervous system there in this slide, nervous system, it is into two part, divided into two parts. Central nervous system's brain and spinal cord, peripheral nervous system's smaller branches of nerves, skulls and membranes are protect the brain, vertebrae and membranes protect the spinal cord. Okay, next slide, which is six number slides. In the six number slide, you must remember this. Okay, before six number slides, in between the sixth number and the sixth number, in between the sixth number and fifth number, there is sentences, these sentences. The central nervous system controls reflex functions and is a path to the brain. The peripheral nervous system controls the most voluntary movements. An example would be your arms and stretchings, etc. So the voluntary movements and the reflex actions. I told you about the reflex actions, but I did not say it to you because of the reason that there was not a point. But now the point is came, so I must want to discuss with you about this, that the voluntary movements, the body have two types of movements: voluntary movements and involuntary movements. The movements which occur with the help of your wills. Your will wants to move your hand upward, downward, etc. So you can do this. So these movements are voluntary. Your hand movements, your arms, legs movements are voluntary movements. And the movements which is not through your wills, let's talk about the movements of the ears, which cannot be moved. These are involuntary. Involuntary can be moved, and you cannot even try to, uh, you cannot move it with your wells if you want to do this. So the involuntary movements are the movements which cannot be moved through your wells, and the voluntary movements are movements which can be moved through your wells. You want to move something, some part of your body, so you can move. So these are something about the involuntary and voluntary movements. Now let's come to 6 points, six number slides. Neurons, message travels through these cells to form the brains. Okay, first point, this point, cell body contains the nucleus and produce energy. Second points, dendrites receives impulse from the other neurons. Axons carry impulse away from the body towards the dendrites of the next neurons. Okay, I must want to discuss with you about these things. You must remember this, that the this point is very beautiful. Must I want to understand with you. There you can see there, these are the cell body. Okay, and these are the dendrites. You can see there, these are the dendrites. So from the cell body, dendrites arising, and you can see there also axons. These are the axons. So the axons is arising there. So you can see the axon is also arising from the cell body. Cell body is a made part, and completely we call this as these whole lines completely diagram. We call this as neuron, and consisting of the cell body, dendrites, and axons. So these are the points must I want to discuss with you. I wanted to show with you. Okay, now I'm gonna telling you about this, that there you can see in the next you can see that is the neuron there, melanin sheath, which is this is inside the uh, these the melanin sheath is inside to the axons. Okay, melanin sheath, axons and speeds transmissions of impulses. Synapse. Synapse is the space between the nerve cells and the neurotransmitters chemicals released by the neurons. Examples are dopamines, motivational positives. These are the enzyme dopamines. These are the used for the motivations purposes. Okay, and stress during recessions, glutamate, learnings and memory, and serotonin regulates sleep, moods, etc. I also have affected by this because I cannot sleep properly when I want to sleep. So I cannot sleep properly because I have something like this disease. But if someone have this disease, so they can be recover, but it will take times because medications. Some of the medications require long times to effect, and some of the time the medications want short time. In a short time they react and make a person perfect and control the activities. Okay, uh, now I'm gonna back to the point, the brain. Do you know in the 8 number slide, this slide, the brain, did you know the brain's weighs about 3 pounds? Second point, the right side of the brain controls the left side. Okay, this is beautiful point. Must I want to discuss with you. The right side of the brain will be control the left side of the body, and the left side of the brain will control the right side of the body. So and it weighs approximately 3 pounds. So you must remember this also, that the brain is made up of in this point you can see there, the brain is made up of 75% of water. There are no pain receptors in the brain, therefore it cannot be feel pains. Okay, it's a very beautiful point. The brain have no receptor, that's why you cannot feel the pain in the brain, because they have no receptors, pain receptors. Okay, if you talk about I'm hearing, you are hearing, because of the reason that in our ear there is sonoreceptors, and I'm watching, I can watch you, I can watch the things, you can watch the world. So it means to say in your eyes there is photoreceptors. So the receptors which is used for different purposes, different types of receptors is used for different purposes. So there the brain have no receptors, that's why this reason is occur, that they cannot feel the pain. Okay, the human body in this point, the human brain is the fattest organ in the body. It is about 60% of fat. Okay, let's come to the next point. Brain anatomy. I was talking about the brain, and I said to you a lot about this, that the brain, how the brains divided. So the brain, mainly the brain is divided into hindbrain, midbrains, and forebrains. So we are gonna discuss about this, that the midbrain, hindbrains, and the forebrain. So what they are talking, what I wrote there, you will be able to understand this. But now you came here in this point, 9 number point. Brain's anatomy. The human brain is comprised of 3 parts: hindbrain, midbrains, and forebrains. Okay, there you come to 10 part brain anatomy, hindbrain. The hindbrain is located at the base of the skull and consists of the cerebellum. So what cerebellum doing? Postures, balancing, voluntary movements. As I said to you about the voluntary movements can control with the help of the cerebellum. And the second one is the medulla. breathing, heart rate, and reflexes. The reflex actions, the breathings, and heartbeats is controlled by the medulla, and the pons bridges between the spinal cord and the brain. Okay, there you can see student could make diagrams of the brain, and labels of various cells are represented. Students should use the personal word wall. Okay, 11 number slide. Midbrain. The midbrain integrates the midbrain integrates sensory information. Examples is the mid handle all the sensory informations that passes between the spinal cord and forebrain. Second point, at this point, this one. Uh, it is also involved in the body movements in relations to auditory and visual signals. It means to say in the midbrains, the auditory means to say hearing, and visuals means to say looking, watching, etc. So, okay, the last point, located just above hindbrain. Okay, now last one which we have is the forebrain. The forebrain contains thalamus relay. What thalamus do? Relay stations of our all the sensory informations except smell. Sensory information they are getting. Okay, hypothalamus controls the hunger, thirst, and sexual behaviors. The sexual behaviors is also controlled by the hypothalamus, and the hippocampus. There's this point there, the hippocampus, important in the forming memories. This is very good points. I hear a lot about the hippocampus. I want to add a lot of this, a lot much more about this, but this very due to shortage of time, I cannot tell you about this. But you must remember this, that if you talk about the hippocampus, so the hippocampus have the ability to resist to get a memory of 600 a video. I mean to say, the hippocampus have the ability, if you get install a video uh, in the hippocampus, so the memory time should be completely, you can see, 100, not 100, is the memory time will be more than 300 years time. They can get the video of 300 years time in at one time in the hippocampus. They can be stored. So this is very good point. Okay, you must have to remember with yourself. In the next classes you will need this. Okay, now come to the point. After the hippocampus, amygdala involved in memory and emotions. You must remember this. The amygdala is a point. This is also a beautiful point. I must want to discuss with you also. Okay, amygdala. Okay, if you talk about the amygdala, so the the Americans peoples, the American peoples hit the amygdala of the brain, and due to the reason, to the hitting the amygdala of the brain, they are what, they when they hit the amygdala of the brain, so after that, the troops of American troops, they are not able to fear. The fear position is gonna finish from him, and they are not fearing from a tank and from a rifles, and from any harmful activities. They are not afraid, and they are doing and fighting for their best and getting the country to the best position. So they are hitting the amygdala. So you must remember this, that the amygdala is a point due to which the fear is gonna finish if you hit the amygdala of the brain. Okay, uh, we are going to finish this. But now in the 13th slide, we're going to speed up our motion. Okay, brain anatomy, for brain, cerebrum at this point. Cerebrums are the largest and the most developed part of the brain, responsible for the intelligence, personality, thinking. The central cortex, cerebral cortex is a gray tissue that covers the cerebrum. Okay, the next topic, in the next line, we have the forebrain central, the cerebral there in the 14th slide. The cerebral is divided into two hemisphere, which contains the occipital lobes for visions, parietal lobes for handling information from the sense, okay, and the temporal lobes, hearing, memory, emotion, speaking, and frontal lobe, organization, planning, creative thinking. Okay, Pinier's gauge. These are this point. These slides. Fifth number. What is this fifth number slides? I want to discuss with you. There, Pinier's gauge. This was the point in 1800, in 1880 there was an incident with a person which is Phineas Gage injury, we call the first injury of the brain injury, when the famous injury, because they were working they worked in a train, uh, and and suddenly a the the metal rod were propelled into your cheeks and uh, into the cheeks of that person, and into and then into enter that rod into inside into the brain. They remain safe, but they their brain could not work properly. So this was something about the brain. If I have done some any mistakes, I apologize to you. So I hope you will accept my apology. Uh, okay. At the end, I want to say you, if you didn't subscribe my channel, just make sure to subscribe and press the bell icon, and don't forget to make a big thumbs up. Thank you.